Hey everybody! How is everybody tonight? I see people starting to pop on here. As you're coming on, say hi. Let me know how you're doing. I'm gonna go find myself on my laptop. I'll be right back. See everybody coming in now. Awesome. I can see all your comments. Lots of people saying hi. Oh, I just seen somebody from Puerto Rico. That's pretty cool. The comments are coming up so fast though, I can't read them all. I have to be like a speed reader. I'll give everybody some time to pop on and find me. Who's excited to paint the gnome tonight? I think he's super cute. The best thing about this is you could really do any colors. He could be really any colors, any designs. This is going to be a really fun one to paint. Just let everybody settle in here. I see lots and lots of people coming in. I see Lucy's here, and Arlene, and Kim, and Marge, Dawn, and Michelle, and Tracy, all coming in. We're gonna give it a few minutes for everybody just to pop on. I usually give it 5 to 10 minutes, make sure everybody can find me okay. Then we'll go over our supply list. Tonight's supply list is pretty loose tonight because like I said, we can paint really the sky any color. So as long as you have some brushes there, any colors are good for tonight. Yeah, so this video will be available later. As soon as I'm done painting, I will replay it. And then you'll be able to find it either under videos on my page, or I will upload it to YouTube, my YouTube channel within the next few days. So it will be on YouTube under Artistic Chris, as well as my Facebook page. So how many people tonight are painting with their kids? Let me know in the comments if your kids are watching and if they're painting tonight. I was debating on painting this one with my daughter, so it's a little late though. By the time we finish up, it's a little late for her, but she was eyeing it and saying, I would like to paint that, so I might have to do something similar maybe in the new year. We'll see. So this here, this is already stenciled out, so you should have it stenciled out before we start. You can take a few minutes to do that if you haven't done it yet. If you don't have the stencil yet, you can message me afterwards, and I can either, I don't know, depending on what time I get done tonight, I will send it to you tomorrow. And then you can just do the replay if you don't have it stenciled out yet. Or if you want to attempt to freehand it. I was debating on freehanding this one or stenciling it, but this one I chose to do stencil. Sometimes I'll put like a little poll on my Facebook page and ask, and a lot of people were interested in getting the stencil. So this one I chose to do it as a stencil, but like I said, just message me. I will send you the stencil if you don't have it. If you haven't put it on to your canvas yet, there's still time. I'm not going to start for probably another 5 or 6 minutes. So you can either just do carbon paper, or what you could do is just cut him out and just trace around him and kind of freehand filling him in. Or if you have chalk, you can always color the back with chalk of the stencil and then put it down and trace it. And the chalk will come out just like the carbon paper here. So you would just need colored chalk though if you're on a white surface. Yeah, so if you don't have the stencil yet, I will send it to you after and you can watch the replay. I usually try to do about half stencil, half freehand paintings. Just switches it up, kind of makes it a little bit different sometimes. But I think in the new year, I'll probably do a little bit less stenciling just because I'm still having a little bit of an issue with figuring out how everybody can get the stencil, because some computers and some phones, they don't like to download the way that I have it, either if it's through Dropbox or if I do it through Word as a PDF. Some people still are not able to get it. So I'm going to try to probably back a little bit away from stenciling and just do more freehand. But yeah, just message me and I will send you the stencil after. If you are looking for the stencil, if you know where this event was posted, under the event, you will see it in the comments section. So I did a separate post inside the event details. So if you could just scroll down, you'll see it'll say about and discussion. If you hit discussion and you scroll down, you'll see the stencil is there. So if you wanted to print it out from there, you can do that, or you can just message me and I'll send it to you later. Yeah, so we'll just give it 2 more minutes and we're gonna start. I see there was lots of kids on tonight. That's awesome. I think this is an awesome one for kids. Okay, so we'll go over the supply list here, and then we can start. So everybody should have a paper plate or something to put their paints on. And then some napkins, and I have a cup here with water. And then I have a bigger brush tonight, like this is a 3/4 inch flathead. This or a 1/2 inch is good. This is just to paint the background, just to cover a little more area. And then I have a small flathead brush here. And then a detail brush. This is a size 3. You could really use, there's nothing too detailed on this painting, so you could go with probably a 6 or smaller, but this is a 3. And then I brought a blow dryer. We'll try to avoid using a blow dryer, but if we do need it, at least we have it there. And then I have a warm beige. This is a new gold. I haven't used this yet, so I'm kind of excited to use this one tonight. I love folk art paint, and so I ordered this in the gold because the gold I had was a little bit see-through, so I'm kind of excited to try this one out tonight. And then I have a red. It doesn't matter. This one's Tuscan red, but it doesn't matter. You could have holiday red or really any shade you want. And then black. White. And then my main colors are a turquoise. This is turquoise blue. This one's a little bit of a deeper turquoise. But like I said, you can really pick any colors you want. And then this is light blue. So that's what I'm going to be working with tonight. And these are all acrylic paints. So you can mix your acrylic paints. I have some from the Dollar Tree, I have some from Michael's here, and I have some from Amazon. So there's really no, as long as they're all acrylic, you can mix them. Really, they just vary in quality. So if you're looking for a cheaper brand to start out that is still good, this is a great one. This is from the Dollar Tree. And then Folk Art is the next step up for price that I like. And it's a bit thicker, but it's still a liquid paint. That one's one of my favorites, and I get that at Michael's. And then the Basics Acrylics. This is like almost a toss between a paste and a liquid. And this is even a bit more expensive. And then this one I also get at Michael's. But right now I know there's a shortage on paint. So what I do is I order from Michael's online. And then what they do is they gather all the paints from all the stores and they ship them to you. So if instead of going, let's say, to one location and they don't have your paint, if you were to order it online, they will look at all the locations and see which ones have them, and then you will get them. So that's what I've been doing right now, because it's been a really short supply. And then I have some sparkles for tonight. These were optional, and this is one of my favorite brands, the Stickles. This one here has a lot of sparkle for a little bit of use, so I really like that, and I get this at Michael's as well. Okay. Take a sip of tea here. If you have comments in your way, you can just, if you're on a phone, just swipe your finger to the right and it will get rid of them, and then they won't be in your way while you're watching. So situate that there. And I'm just gonna step in front here for 1 second. Okay, so we can get started here. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna do my background a light blue. So I'm just gonna put some of this light blue on my plate. And I'm just gonna take my big brush here. I'm gonna just dunk it in the water just to kind of get it a little bit wet. The paint I'm using for this is a bit thicker, so if you have a really thin paint, you don't have to do this. But I'm just gonna get it wet, and then I'm just gonna wipe it on my napkin just so it's a little bit damp. And we're just gonna go into that paint there. And really we're just putting a coat down on the background right now. So we're just painting around this stencil here. If you see, also one more thing I wanted to mention, if you see any links in the comments, please don't hit them. They're just scams. Well, except for one, I see a lady reposted the stencil, but thank you for doing that. But if you see anybody trying to get you to click anything, please don't hit it. I'm not going to put up any links in the comments right now. So if there's anything popping up that doesn't have Artisticris beside it, then don't hit it, just because it's probably just going to take you away from this and lead you to something that you have to pay for. So this is a free event. So please don't hit anything in the comments. Okay, so we're just going to start with this blue paint here. And I'm just painting the background, so I'm just going to go up and down. And when you get close to your gnome, you can switch to your smaller brush if you're more comfortable with that. You don't have to stick with this big one. You can get as close as you want here with this one, and then switch it off if you want to. But right now I'm just going to cover in all the big areas. And just go up and down, kind of keep it going in the same direction, because later we're going to incorporate a little bit of gold back here. And there will be a replay, so as soon as this is done, I know some people are just popping on and they're asking, will there be a replay? There will be a replay after this as soon as it's done. I'm assuming this will be done around 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock we should be done. And I'll put the replay right up. So right now we're just going around our little gnome guy. And if you have any questions, you can always message me after, and I will get to them either tonight or tomorrow. So just kind of outlining this guy right now with the blue. What I like to do is sometimes I'll just outline first kind of where he is, and then I can work up from there. That way I don't go into his body or his hat. Now, if you do for some reason, we're going to be painting with layers anyway, so it's not detrimental if something happens. What I like to do with this brush is, this is a big flathead brush. This one's pretty wide. But the beauty of the flathead brush is that you can use it in such a small way, or you can use it in such a big way. So if we want to cover, like, say, a space like this, then we're using it completely flat, right? We're going like this, and that's covering that space up quickly. But as soon as I get kind of in the nooks and crannies here, I can really just paint with this small little section of the brush. So I can even angle it to use the corners of it. And that's why I think the flathead brush is my favorite kind, because there's just so many ways you can use it. So I can come in here, kind of wrap around here, all in the way you just kind of tilt the brush, right? So sneak in here with the corner and then down. And really it just takes time to get used to using it. Once you get used to the angles and how to use it, then I use a big flathead brush for a lot of small spaces. We're just getting in all these spots. And I can only imagine how many different gnome pictures I'm gonna get, because this is so versatile that I think every single person's gnome is gonna be all different colors and designs on the hat. I'm excited to see everybody's when it's finished. Yes, tonight I am using an 11 by 14. So if you're using anything bigger, you might take a little bit longer than me, or if you're using something smaller, then you'll be a bit quicker. But mine is an 11 by 14 multimedia paper. I just use a multimedia paper because I do a lot of paint nights and I do not have a ton of space in my house for all the canvases. So this comes in handy, and it's kind of like a portfolio. So I really love it. It's nice also just to kind of go back and you can look at all your artwork. And this one I get off of Amazon. This is called a Canson multimedia pad, and this is an 11 by 14. And I think this roughly runs about $20, but I'm in Canada, so if you're in the States or elsewhere, it might be a bit cheaper for you. And you're starting to see the outline of them come out. Yeah, so if anybody's still curious about the stencil, I will send it to you. You can just message me. Don't leave that you want it in the comments, because I might not see that depending on how many people comment tonight. But if you private message me on my Artisticverse page, then I can send it to you today or tomorrow. I'll send it to you. And I'm just kind of going over if there's any thinner spots here that I have. It's better to do thin layers with more layers than it is just to put on one big thick layer. Okay, so I think mine looks pretty good there. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes just to finish painting their background. When you're done that, you can wash off your big brush. So if you haven't painted with me before, just let me know in the comments when you're finishing up. You can either throw a thumbs up or a like or a smiley face or a heart, and just kind of communicate back and forth with me. Let me know when you are ready to move on to the next step, and then we can do that. That's kind of how I communicate, because I can't really see when you're finished. So when I start to see a whole bunch of icons coming up, then I know that the majority of everybody is ready to move on. Okay, I'm seeing lots of thumbs up, lots of hearts. Awesome. We have about 676 people here tonight, so it's a good amount of people painting. Aparna, that is completely fine. I'm so happy she's experimenting with different colors. That's the fun of this. You can do whatever. I know if my daughter was painting right now, this whole thing would probably be pinks and purples. So you go ahead and do your own gnome. I love that you can express, everyone can express what they love. They can even paint it to match their house or their rooms. That is the fun of it. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of that turquoise blue on my plate next. And once again, I'm still gonna stick with my big brush here, we're gonna work on the hat. So whatever color you want to make your hat, you can go ahead and put that on your plate, and I'm still gonna stick with this brush. If you're not comfortable with something this big, you can definitely use something like this. So you'll see there's quite a difference. Once I get down to, I did his hat, the turquoise, and I also did his sleeves turquoise here. So once I get down to here, I am gonna switch to the smaller brush. So please do whatever you're comfortable with. And once again, I'm just gonna kind of dunk my paintbrush in the water just to kind of get it damp. And then we can go ahead and paint. I see some people asking how they can get the stencil from me. Just private message me and I will send it to you. We're just gonna go in and I'm just gonna paint his hat. Right now with acrylic paint, all we are worried about is just getting that first layer down. So everything right now is just gonna be pretty flat, but we just need to worry about that one coat, and then we can start to add character from that point. So right now we're just coloring them in. And what I like to do is, you'll see here that I have a line, right? So we don't really want to cover that if the color is going to completely cover it. We kind of want to keep that so that we know that we're going to highlight that out later. So I'll just kind of come across this way here, as close as I can to there. And then again on the other side, super close, just leaving a tiny, tiny crack of white. That way we know that that line was originally there. And I like to do that just so that when we go back and we paint, as you see here, we are gonna outline with black. We're gonna know exactly where to outline. We don't wanna lose that mark. And it just makes it a lot easier if you just give it a quick outline and then paint back from there. Buffalo checkered pattern would be super cute for his hat. We're going to keep alternating objects tonight. This way, as they dry, then we can put layers on them. The acrylic paint dries so super fast anyways. It's one of the quickest drying. Most of my hat's already dry already. And then I'm just going to switch my brush and I'm just going to go in with the smaller flathead just to do his two sleeves here. Now you don't even have to stick with the same color of his hat being with his sleeves. You can go ahead and choose a different color if you want and fill that in. But I'm going to wash out that big brush for now. I can't wait to see all the kid ones that come in. I'm sure you guys are doing awesome. I loved, you did the snowman with me and I loved that. And then what else did we do together? What was the last one we did? The reindeer, that was the one. Everybody did so good on that one. Lots of artists, always lots of artists on this page here. Okay, so we're gonna go in here and I'm just gonna fill in these little sleeves on the side. And I'm just using the width of my brush. The width of my brush is pretty much the width of his sleeve, so it kind of works out good here. Yes, Jessica, there will be a replay as soon as this is done that you can view. It'll be up for a while too. No, anybody who wants a stencil, just private message me and I will send you the stencil either today or tomorrow. So I'll give everybody some time to get that done. What are some of the colors you used for the hat? If you didn't use this turquoise and you used a different color, put it in the comments. I'm kind of curious to see. Ooh, purple. I see purple, red, green. Kiwi green, that would be cool. Red and white like candy canes. Awesome. Purple's my favorite color too. I love purple. Red Christmas hat, hot pink, awesome. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to continue to paint his hat. So I'm just painting this lower part here. I'm going to do that, the light blue as well, like I did down here. So I'm just using the same color as the background, but I see there's lots and lots of different colors happening tonight. So go crazy, go nuts, have fun. This is the season for fun, so don't hold back. And I'm just using my big brush again, but like I said before, there's no strict rules to paint night. We're here to have fun. Use whatever brush you feel comfortable using. Everybody's gonna feel comfortable using a little bit of a different brush, and that's okay. I'm just happy to have families together tonight and friends together. And if you're not with anybody, then just quiet, peaceful time for yourself. It's just me here painting tonight with my dog. My husband and my kids are in the other room. And it's nice just to kind of just hear silence. Mine is me blabbing a lot. I guess it's not too silent in here. I haven't stopped talking. I've got a lavender scented candle going. It's like I'm on like a retreat here. Hey, if I'm quarantined, I'm gonna make it a retreat. There we go. I'm just washing my big brush out again because I'm done the hat there. These are acrylic paints, not water or oil, just acrylic tonight. I usually paint with acrylic paint. In the new year, I might get into some watercolor instruction. I've actually never painted with oil paints. It kind of intimidates me and scares me a bit. I think I'm a bit too impatient to wait for them to dry, so I'm not sure. I've never tried them. Maybe it's something I could definitely give a try in the future, but acrylic has always kind of been my favorite. I like watercolor too, but acrylic for me is where it's at. Okay, so just give me some thumbs up when you are ready to move on, when you've got your hat. So far we've done the hat, the top of it, we've done the rim of it, which I know is hard to see on mine because I did blue on blue, but once I start outlining and putting designs and all that fun stuff in, it's gonna really pop. And then we just did his little sleeves here. So let me know when you're finished and you're ready to move on in the comments, and then we'll keep going. Yes, there will be a replay. I always have a replay for all of my paint nights. So if you join me, you will always be able to see the replay. Whether it's a free event or a paid event, I always have a replay up. Okay, so I see lots of hearts and thumbs up. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna paint his little nose and his face here and his hands. Now you can do this really any color. I am going to use warm beige. If you don't have any form of skin tone at all, you can always make it. So if you have like any kind of brown and white, pink and orange, if you mix that together, it will make something similar to this. And then if you wanted a little bit of a darker skin tone, you could just add more brown. And then lighter as well would be just adding more white. So brown, white, pink, and orange will make this color here. You'll want half and half of white and brown, and then just little dots of pink and orange. And once you mix it, you can kind of see if it looks a little bit too pasty, then just add a little more pink and just kind of play with it there. But I just have a pre-mixed tube. I'm cheating. And I'm going to go with that for tonight. But okay. All right, so we're just going to go in with this color right now. And I'm just going to paint. I'm using just my little flathead brush here, and we're just going to paint in his nose. And then I'm just going to paint in the sides of his cheeks here. And I'm going to go right over because I can still see my line. This is a fairly light paint, so I'm not too worried about covering it too much. And then I'm going to do the same thing with his hands. Just come in and paint his hands. So when I'm done this, I'll show you what book I'm using here if anybody wants to order one, especially if you do a lot of paint nights. It's really a space saver, and I'm a real huge fan of the book. It doesn't, like, because it's a multimedia pad, Oh, I think someone's calling me. Hold on one second here. Oh, just my brother. He'll have to wait. I'm painting tonight. So yeah, the paper will not leak through. So if you paint with watercolor or acrylics, it will not go through to the next side, which I really like. Okay, so here, I will show you this here. So this is what I use to paint on. There's 60 sheets. It's Canson Multimedia paper. So at the bottom it says it's good for acrylic, watercolor, pen, and pencil. And yeah, it doesn't really go through. So like for example, I've painted all these pictures here. And if you look at the back, it has not gone through. So it won't go through. If you see any on the edge, it's just because I spilled it over to the edge. But the actual painting, there's none going through there. So I really like that. And then I guess while I have this out, I'll show you, I think it's Thursday or Friday, I can't remember now. I will be painting this one right on my page, just like I'm doing right now. This is also a free event, so feel free to come and join me. The only difference is this one will be at 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 6 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, this is my Angels and Cardinals paint night. So feel free if anybody wants to join me. That's either this Thursday or Friday. I can't remember now. But if you go on my page under events, you'll see when it is. Yes, so this event started at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm not sure where you're located, but Eastern time it started at 6 p.m. And there will be a replay. So no worries if you're just coming on. So if you're ready to go on, just let me know in the comments. Is everybody hearing me okay? I see a comment saying that they can hardly hear me. Just let me know in the comments if you're hearing me okay. Okay, alrighty. I'll try to talk a little bit louder here. Okay, so I'm going to be getting some white paint on my plate here. We're going to be working on his beard and this little pom-pom up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put a little bit of black on my plate. Okay, so what we have is just some white and some black, and I'm just going to take my flathead little brush here, and I'm just going to move a little bit of this white to the side. So I'm just going to make my own little pile here. It doesn't have to be a ton. And then I'm going to take a little corner of black, not too much. I think I already grabbed too much. And I'm just going to mix it in. I just want to get a light gray. So just a light gray. If it's not light enough, add a little bit more white. We just want to have it reserved on the side there because we're going to put a little shading into our beard. So just very light like that, not too dark. And I'm just gonna wash my brush out after I'm done mixing that. So what we're gonna do for his beard here is we're gonna wanna put, we wanna have wet on wet paint when we're gonna blend some colors. So we're gonna start, even though his beard is white already because we haven't painted it yet, we're gonna go in with white. So I'm just gonna take some white here and I'm just gonna get his beard and mustache a coat of white just so it's wet. So just paint all over his beard and mustache with white. Well, it's not really gonna look like too much yet, but that's okay. The whole point is just to get it so that that paint will slide together nicely. I'm just painting all of his beard. Okay, so once we got kind of a good layer on there, just going over it quickly again, just make sure it's got a good amount. And I'm just gonna grab just a tiny bit of that gray. So I'm not even washing out my brush. I wanna blend it. I'm literally just dabbing it in so you can see there that this light's not too bright. It's just the very tip, it's not too much. And I'm just gonna follow along the shape of his beard. So right now it's kind of just flying out. So I'm just gonna put a swoop of gray in there, just pulling down just a light amount. And same within this one, just a light amount here. Kind of just following the shape of it. And then you can go right back into the white and kind of just blend it back out. So this way it's not too crazy, but you can see a shadow of gray in there. And you can do the same thing with his mustache. So just kind of bring a little bit into the shape of it. So just down the side of each point. And kind of blend it back out by just having a little bit of white. How you're going to do that is you just want to have a little bit of paint. You don't want to have too much. So I'm just have the very, very end. And I'm just kind of swooping down here. Same with this one here. Just kind of following. I'm not hitting every spot, just along the edges. And then I'm coming back in with my white and I'm just blending that back out. So just kind of lightly going over it with my brush here. Just very lightly. And then same with the other side of his mustache. Just down these little points. And then just a little bit of white paint again back through. And don't worry about these lines right now, the pencil lines or the graphite paper lines. We're going to be covering those with some black anyways, so that's not important right now. If you go over them or they're not looking awesome, it's going to make a big difference when we pop out some black on there. heard my husband's Star Wars in the background. Yes, is it the light too bright? Let me see if I can turn it down a bit. If it's too much light, let me see here. Let me see here. I want to see if I shut it right off, what happens. I don't know if that's any better. What I can do is just move it a little bit closer for you here to see. Then you can kind of see in there. Just how the gray is kind of trickling in there. Is it better if I hold it up close once in a while just so I can show you what it looks like if the light's too bright? Yes, great, great. Okay, perfect. I'll do that then. Just because I want you still to be able to see it. I don't know why my light's so bright right there. Here, let me see if I back it up a bit. I'll just have it come from maybe the bottom and that will be better. Okay, let's see if that's any better. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna go wash out my brush here. Sometimes too, because I use the multimedia paper, it gets a good shine on it when the paint is wet, as opposed to the canvas or a piece of wood. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to put some red on my plate. You can use whatever color you want for your Christmas ball. If you already did your hat red, you might want to use a different color. I'm gonna do that there. Just get that red ready on there. And I am going to still, I just got done his beard. I forgot to do his little pom-pom here. So I'm just gonna paint that white there with my small flathead brush. And I'm just gonna come in and just give it a coat of white. And really, the pom-pom's not going to make a huge difference right now until I start highlighting and stuff, because it looks white on white, because it is. But once we get the black in there, it'll look great. Okay, and I'm just going to come in with my red, and I'm just going to use my small brush still, my small flathead brush, and I'm just going to paint in my Christmas ball red here. just going around his fingers here. And I always like to use both sides of my brush when I'm painting. That way the paint is evenly distributed. It doesn't leave any lines that way. My red paint, this one is usually the color red for some reason, sometimes the color green. It's comes out a bit thinner. So I'm just gonna quickly just kind of go over with a second coat. Depending on what kind of paint you're using and what color, you might not have to do this, but if it's dry, you can go over with a second coat. If not, you could give it a quick blow dry. I just want my red to pop out brightly, not kind of be dimmed out by the white background. So I'm just gonna go over and quickly do that. Because I put such a thin layer the first time, it's already dry for me. Yes, Sandy, you're right. It is really relaxing at this time. There's a lot going on right now in the world, stressful things. I don't know where everybody's located, but we just went back into lockdown as of today. So we are in gray zone, which means basically back to how it was in March and April, when only essential things are open. Even school isn't open here where I live right now. I was homeschooling my kids anyways, but for them to go that far, the cases are too high, because it seems like closing down the schools was the last option this time, and they still did that. So it must be getting pretty bad around where I am. I know we've had record high cases the last couple weeks, so it's nice just to get away and paint, kind of do something fun, especially with our kids. I had a lady message me today just saying how this really helps her daughter because she's so sad that she can't be with her friends at school. And my son's in the same exact boat right now. He's in grade 3, and he's not a kid that cries often, and he's cried a lot during COVID, so I feel very bad. And it's just nice to get away, do something fun, have something really to look forward to. I think that's what everybody needs right now. Something to look forward to, something we can make memories with. It's important right now at a time when we can look at so many negative things that we find the positives, which for me is, starting painting online. I only painted in person before, so now I can reach more people, and, give people a chance just to have a night away from their thoughts and have some fun and make memories with their families. So this is really something that I love and enjoy doing. And I don't mind taking, the 2 hours it takes to do a paint night, to just know that people all around the world are just having that night away. So it makes me feel good. And right now, I think anything that makes anybody feel good is worth doing. So, yeah. So there's my red ball there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of like shadowing in the ball. So depending on what color you did, you can always just darken it up a tiny bit with a little bit of black, or you can, if you have a darker version of the color you used, you could always do that. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of my red aside here, just a little bit, and a tiny bit of black, and I'm just gonna turn this into almost like a burgundy color. June, I am just on my iPhone right now videoing this. So this is a live event, but then I'm gonna post it. So then what I do after that is I just save it to my computer and then I can upload it to YouTube. So it's not actually recording on my phone right now, it's just a live event. But then once I put it on Facebook, then I can just save it to my computer where I can upload it to YouTube, and that's how I do it. Okay, so see here, I got my original red here, and then just a little bit of a darker tone here. So I'm just gonna come in around the edge of the ball and just bring in some of that dark, just kind of around here, down here a little bit. Just kind of, you can even outline the fingers a little bit, little waves. It doesn't have to be exact. And then once you have that, you can go back into your red and just kind of smooth it over like you did with your white and gray in the beard. So this is just giving us a little bit of contrast, but we don't want to go too crazy. So I'm just bringing back that red in there and just kind of blending it all out. And really you can blend two ways. You can blend with color on color and just keep switching back and forth and blending, or you can put two colors on and then blend with some water. If you just dunk your brush in a little bit of water, it will blend it out as well. But for me, my favorite is the color on color. It kind of gives us that gradual look. And then we just have a little bit of shading and shadowing in this Christmas ball here. So you'll see there, it's just got a little bit of contrast. And I'll let everybody take a second just to catch up there. No, Pam, I don't have to put anything in between the papers because it's a multimedia pad. So if you bought the same exact one as me and it says multimedia pad on it, you should be good. The only thing I would suggest is if you wanted to just keep the edges, because sometimes I paint over and the edges get a little bit of paint on them, you could always put something in between for that purpose. But if you look here, I just got done painting the gnomes, the red ball and all that, and it's not on there at all. It won't go through. It doesn't even soak through on the back of this one here. So it's a really good pad there. You can't start from the beginning yet until the live video is done. Once the live video is done, which should be around between 7:30 and 8, then you can start it and go forwards, backwards, and pause it, and all that fun stuff. I see someone saying I am a 10-year-old painting. Well, welcome. I hope you're having fun. Okay, so as you guys finish up, just send me some thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to move on. Oh, we have Meredith here, who's a 10-year-old too. Awesome. That's great, guys. Diane. She says I'm 59. Kids of all ages. Oh, that's a good idea, Patricia. I love Disney, so my ball is going to be a Mickey. That's awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're just going to take the black that we already have on our plate. I'm just going to use my small flathead brush here, and I'm just going to paint in his shoes down here. So just a solid black. And we can wash our brush off when we're done that. I love all the kids paint tonight. That's awesome. I always make my paint nights kid friendly, so any night that your kids want to paint or you want to paint with them. I do have like specific ones on Sundays with me and my daughter, but everyone is welcome at any time to paint any painting. Some are a little bit more difficult than others, but you can always give it your best shot. I always try to explain, even especially if it's freehand, I always try to explain everything. Each step as detailed as possible. When it's stenciled, it's a little bit easier, but either way, everyone is always welcome. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is I'm super excited to try out this new gold. So this gold here is probably gonna come out a lot darker than this one just because this one was my old one, which was a little bit of a cheaper brand, but I'm super excited to try this. So I'm gonna put some gold on my plate, and you could do this with any color. It doesn't have to be gold. And I'm gonna take my big brush here, and I'm just gonna put a little bit on here. So just like that. And I'm just gonna lightly just go up and down here and just add some gold to the background. So just really lightly just kind of fanning some gold on there. And you'll see it kind of gets a little bit like little streaks of gold. But you could do this with any color. It would be pretty. But you just want to go really light on your brush. You don't want to have a whole bunch of paint. If you have too much, it's just going to cover the background again. So you'll see there, it's kind of shining. Trying to get it in the light there. Kind of reflecting gold, and it's super pretty. But I don't have too much on my brush when I'm doing that. And I'm just going all over here, all around, wherever there's the blue in the background. Just adding some gold shimmers. So we'll see here, he's all shiny. I love this gold. It's so pretty. Especially for Christmas. So what we're going to work on next is we're going to make a design on the hat. So I'm going to do these circles. If your hat for some reason isn't dry, give it a quick blow dry. Just because when we put these on, we're going to want the paint to lay on top. We're not going to want it to be blending in. So if for some reason your hat's still wet, you can go ahead and give it a blow dry. And if it's dry, then you'll be good to go. So I'll just give it another minute and then we'll start on that. So you could do really anything. We also have this detailed brush, which we'll be using after, but you could take this and you could put stripes, or you could put zigzags. You could do little stars, or really, there's really so many options. What I'm gonna do is just these little round circles here, and I'm going to do them in my light blue, and I'm gonna do some in white. So I'm just gonna take my small flathead brush here, and I'm just gonna make little circles. So I'm basically just picking a spot here and then just kind of going around, and you'll see that one's pretty tiny there, and as you keep going around and around, it gets bigger. And then you can just stop when you have it the size you want. I'm just gonna place these different sizes kind of here and there. There's no right or wrong, just have fun. So the ones I just used here, this is just the light blue, and then I'm gonna put some white ones in. So far I just did the round circles with the light blue, but now I'm gonna come in with a couple little white ones as well. I don't usually actually paint propped up. It's really a preference. I find it a lot easier to paint just flat on the table, but just for being able to instruct and for you to see, I always like to paint upright. But me personally, like when I do my examples at home by myself, I'm always just flat on the table. But it's like, it's seriously just preference, what's more comfortable for you, you know, how you have more control of your brush and stuff like that. You can give both a try and see what you like better. So you'll see, I'll move this a little closer here. You can see some are white and some are light blue. Is everybody all done their Christmas shopping? I think I finally finished. I think I might just have one more thing to get, but yesterday I went and I finished everything off. Most of my stuff I either bought local this year or I bought online just because we aren't really going too much from store to store. So I had started shopping in, I think, like June or July for Christmas this year, but just because I knew the delivery dates would probably be pretty backed up once we get closer to Christmas. Oh no, Diane. Just don't drink your milk now. Oh, that's nice. You're making blankets? That's awesome. Handmade stuff is so nice. Heather says she was done in November. That's smart. There's no stencil for the painting I'll be doing on Thursday, the cardinal one. That's all freehand. So you won't have to worry about getting a stencil. Hi, Paige. I see her from Canada too. That's awesome. My stencils here, this one, I hand drew it and then I just made a stencil for everybody. So I actually freehand painted it first and then I just traced it into a stencil myself. So I didn't buy it or anything, I just created it myself, this one. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to write whatever we want on our ornament. Whatever we want on our Christmas ball, we can write. I'm going to write joy just because I wrote it already, but you can write whatever you want. You can always, too, if you want to take a pencil and you want to write it first and then you can paint it, or you can just take your fine brush here and you can write whatever you would like or paint whatever you would like on there. So I'm going to do mine in black and I'm going to write joy. And you can always start with just a thin line first, and then you can always make your letters thicker. And you can kind of transform your letters into whatever shapes you want once you start. So for me, I'm just going to follow what I did. So I'm going to do my J first. And I just put a big arc in it here. And then I'm just going to come down and back up. And then my O. And what helps with lettering is if you have your hand down. So just do your letters with your fingers. Don't be moving your arm all around like this. If you just move your fingers like this, that's going to help you do better letters. So I put my hand down so that it's sturdy, and then I just move my fingers and create my letters. There's going to be a replay as soon as this video is done. So as soon as the live is done, there'll be a replay under videos on my page, and you can go back and start from the beginning. Also, in a couple days, I'll have it up on my YouTube channel, which is also Artisticris, if anybody wants to view it from there. All my free tutorials are on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, or you haven't checked it out, it is a quick and easy way just to get to all my free tutorials. And that's spelt the same way that my page is spelled, Artisticris. So you can just go on there and look me up, and you'll see all my paintings on there. The video will be up on YouTube for a long, long time. On Facebook, they stay up a pretty long time too. You don't have to rush. Like, it'll be up into the new year. I'm just gonna add my little lines that I added down here, just underneath it, just to give it some character. Just like that. You'll see there, I just put a couple little underlines under there. Just, this is a cartoony kind of painting, so nothing here is really realistic. It's just for fun. So I like to add a little bit of those extra little pieces. And then what we're gonna do next, and this is really gonna make it pop out, is we're gonna be using our small little brush here, and we're gonna be outlining the whole thing. So we'll start with just outlining him. Wherever we have the stencil marks, that's where it's gonna be outlined. So we can do that with black, and then we'll come in after we're done that, and we'll just put some fun little extra accents in. So if you see the one that I already did here, I just have kind of like the shape of his hat going here, and a little bit of whites in there and here and on his shoes. So just things like that. But we're just going to work on outlining him first, and that's going to make him pop out big time. So you can start anywhere. I would suggest starting from top to bottom so you don't rub your hand back in it. Also, if you're left-handed like me, then I would do probably right to left. That way you're not smearing back over here like I usually do. So I'm just going to take and just outline all the pieces that we did for the stencil. All the same lines. And you'll start to see them come to life. And that's where we can bring, if you left any lines in between anything, just so that you could see them, that's where you can paint that black. So remember when I showed how I left like a little tiny white line here? That's how I knew to put that black there. Yeah, Jessica, that's exactly. Yep. When you're left-handed, usually this whole side of my hand is just full of paint. So many times I've ruined my painting just by going back like this. Like, oh. But as you keep practicing, you learn all your what not to do's. And you don't have to hit every single spot. You can kind of, you know, just kind of bring it down, hit or miss here a little bit. It doesn't have to be exactly right against the line. That's what kind of makes it cartoonish. You can see here as I'm painting him, that blue is coming alive, coming away from the other blue. And the whole time I'm doing this, my hand is always touching some part of my surface. So just make sure you're not dunking it in your words you just did. But my hand is rarely not touching part of this while I'm moving my fingers, because you're going to become a lot less shaky. If I had my hand up the whole time I was doing this, I'd have like one huge like Arnold Schwarzenegger bicep and then my other one would be super skinny. So yes, so right now, try to keep my muscles the same size, and I keep my hand down, and I really just move along with it. That keeps me really sturdy. Don't mind my lame jokes. I can't wait to see everyone's paintings. Afterwards, if you would like to share them, there's a couple ways. You can either private message me and send a picture that way. You can post them right under the comments here of this live video. Or you could even post them on my page. But I also have a group called Created to Create with Artisticris, where we share all our art, and you're welcome to join that. That's a free group, and we put all our art in there. What I will do is I will put in the comments well, not really the link, but just a tagged version of Created to Create with Artisticris, and then if you hit it, you can just ask to join the group. You can put your art in there. There's lots of wonderful artists in there, and everybody is judgment-free, so it doesn't always have to be what you paint with me. If you paint with another artist, you're more than welcome to share your art in there. I never mind, because we can learn different things from different people, and I never would say limit yourself to one artist. So anything you paint, or if you paint something by yourself, or even if you do like a DIY project, you can put it in there. Anything that has to do with creativity is good with me. Okay, so I think I got it all. Oh, I forgot my little circles up top there. So for my circles here, I don't know if everybody did circles, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around one side and then the other, just to kind of give them, kind of like they're popping out, but I'm not going to put a complete circle around them. Just going to kind of flick here and there, kind of go around one side and then around the other. Make them stand out a bit. If you did stripes, you could always do the same thing. Just kind of put a little bit of a line on there. Just like that. So you'll see they're not fully circled in. I just went around one side and around the next, and wherever it ended is where it ended. So nothing too particular. And then I'm just gonna add little accents here and there. So on his nose, I'm just gonna do kind of like a little half circle there. And then same with just on his beard, just kind of to accent kind of the way it's flowing. So just down the side, they don't have to be straight lines. Same within his mustache, just a little line here, there. Just kind of the way the hair's going, just like that. Just kind of cute little accents like that, kind of, you know, spice up really any painting, especially if it's got a cartoon aspect to it. And then I'm going to do the same thing in his hat here, but I'm just switching from black to that dark turquoise just to make some accents here in the hat. So I'm just going to come up like that, and I'm just following really the shape of his hat. So you don't have to really try to guess too much. Just I go down here and then I'm kind of just following the shapes just on the edges. And you could just stick with black if you wanted, or you could do a color. I'm just going to kind of bring some throughout. put in the comments before anybody leaves my Created to Create group, just so if you want to have a free group to share your art, you can. Before we finish up here. So I just put it up. I'm gonna pin it. I think if I pin it, it will stay at the top of the comments there, but you can just click it and ask to join the group, and then I'll accept you into the group. So it is there. It's called Created to Create, and then you'll see a little palette with colors on it, and it says with Artistic Crest. So you can actually click on that, and it will bring you to that group. So now I'm just gonna come in with white as well, and I'm just gonna follow. Same thing, just kind of follow these lines here. Just kind of make it pop a bit more. It's gonna pop right off the page. Same within these little balls here, these circles. Just kind of put a little bit of spunk in there. And then I did a little bit too in the Christmas ball. And just on his shoes to kind of show that there's shoes there because they're kind of hiding down there. So just little accents. Yes, we are going to get to the glitter glue, I promise. So the one thing with the glitter glue is you want to make sure your painting's dry. If it's wet when you go to put on your glitter glue, then it's going to smear into the colors. So if you just want to give a quick blow dry to your painting, if you don't have a blow dryer, you can always just wait till it dries and then put on the glitter glue. But I'm going to do that next and show you. So I'm just going to give it a quick blow dry, and then we are going to put on some glitter glue. So what I like to do is I like to put the glitter glue right on my plate. You can put it right on if you want, depending on what kind you have. This one has a lot of sparkles in it, so I like to actually spread it around. If you have one that has a little bit less sparkles, you can just squirt it right on wherever you'd like. But I'm just gonna put some right on my plate here. And I'll show you there. Where am I? You can kind of see the blob right there, even though it's see-through. There are sparkles. And I just take my small flathead brush and I just kind of scoop some up on there. And then I just put it wherever I want. So in this one, I kind of just stuck it like in between here, just kind of around on the hat. And put some inside the ball here. And then kind of just following along here. You can really put some wherever you want. I think I just put it on his, oh, I got a little bit here too in the ball. So we can put some here. put it anywhere. You could put it on the background a little bit. I have my gold going there, but I could just throw like a little kind of like little tiny streaks in here, right on top where the gold is. And just liven it up a bit. So now when I show you in here, Mod Podge should not discolor it, but if you wanted to protect it with something, you can get like a really good spray at a Canadian Tire or a Home Depot or Home Hardware. It's the Rust-Oleum brand, and it's to protect, and it says right on it non-yellowing. So you can always do that. That's about $6 a can, so it's not super expensive. You could do so many paintings with that one can. So I'll just show you there in the light. We've got a very sparkly gnome. Okay, sorry. And he's joyful, and he is ready to celebrate Christmas. Last but not least, don't forget to put your initials or your name on your work and be proud of what you created. No one else could ever create exactly what you created. That is your work of art. Doesn't matter how close of a tutorial they follow, just like me. Everybody's is gonna look different because we all have our own touch. So be proud of what you created. And yeah, so feel free to join me on, I believe it's Thursday for that other free paint night. And then also click the link or the Created to Create if you want to join the group. I pinned it. And everybody have a great night. And I will see you Thursday. There's going to be some more Parent and Me paint nights coming in January, so keep your eye out for that. Usually those are on Sundays. Me and my 4-year-old daughter love to do them if you haven't joined us yet. There's a couple on my replays up under videos or on my YouTube channel under Artisticris as well, so you can see those. And the light is leaving something in my eye here. Yeah, that's really it. So have a good night. I hope this all gave you guys some peace for a couple hours and some family bonding time. Thank you so much.